I want to talk about my teenage years today. I'm gonna talk about my teenage years today. Do what I want, bitch. Okay, let's sit here. No, that's not gonna. Actually, before I do anything, let's sort out the white balance because I look like a shrimp. And that's never good. I still look a bit shrimpy unless I go all sort of edgy and moody and do this. There we go. Now let's sort out the framing. Why are YouTube videos so bloody stressful? Why am I recording my knee? Although it is in pretty much perfect focus. Well, actually no, it's not actually. I need lessons. Get it? Need lessons? I'm so sorry. Why am I stressing this much about a video? There we go. Hey guys! Oh Christ. The time currently is 6:10 at night. I spent about 15 minutes making tea. Way too long to be making tea. I thought there was enough water in the kettle. And why am I telling you this? This is just so boring. Let's try and talk about something else. Like my childhood. Well, I say childhood. My teenhood. I'm gonna close the door. I want to talk about my teenage years because my teenage years are something that I don't really like talking about. I moved down here from up north. I just hit myself in the face. I moved down here from up north about 2003, 4. I was in year 4, form 4 as it was called in my primary school, private school. I'm posh, get me. I was in year 4 in 2004. Year 5, 2005. Year 6, you get the point. And I find that really cool because when someone asks me, when did you move down here? If that ever gets cropped up in conversation, I can say that whole story and then I just get really awkward and go all red like I am right now. But you can't see it because it's black and white. I'm really sassy. I'm SamChaplin today. I started off my teenage years living with my mother. We lived in a house, which is surprising for many people. I'll get more onto that later on. Effectively, when I was born, I was already a young carer because my mum had epilepsy and asthma and problems, and so I had to look after her. And this is when the story gets a little bit deep. You know, this is why it's in black and white. It isn't, but shut up, Sam. When I started school, I was, you know, being a young carer and stuff, and I was looking after myself and my mum. I couldn't really look after myself, which basically means that I went to school, you know, in my uniform, you know, as we had to do in school. This was in secondary school. When you're in primary school, especially a private school, it's it's quite posh, and it's very, you know, bullying isn't really a thing there, you know. It's very small school, my private school. My private school, like I own it. Moving from a private school to a public school, which is much bigger, more common people, I guess. You wanna live like common people, you wanna do whatever common... I'm 20 years old, shut up. Basically I got bullied a lot because my aroma wasn't very good, you know. I washed myself in Lynx, basically. You know, I didn't have a bath very often. I was just a grotty little kid really, but I never really told people why. They just assumed that I was some sort of like hoodlum, like some sort of little rat that just got changed and, you know, went to school and then went back to his hole or his box, which is why I was talking about, like, you know, living in a house surprises some people. It just, oh my, the majority of that time, you know, I was like an awkward little kid, you know. I liked music, as a lot of people did. There was a time when I used to listen to Chipmunk, not Alvin and the Chipmunks. There's a rapper called Chipmunk, or a grime artist now, but he was a rapper back then. And I thought, by me listening to him, I was a hardener. I used to listen to N-dubs as well, and I used to think that listening to them made me all street and hip. As you can tell, that streetness didn't last. I'm not. The transformation from being that to me is a weird situation. I fell in love with a band who I've mentioned quite a lot on this channel. Blur. I love Blur more than anything in the world, or I loved Blur more than anything in the world at that point, you know. Obviously family didn't really count, you know. In terms of possessions, even though a band isn't a possession, yeah, I'm telling you straight, directioners and believers, bands are not possessions, they're gods. I fangirled over Blur, and I fell in love with them at the time when they reformed, and that was lovely. Blur were essentially a '90s band, and I fell in love with them I fell in love with them in 2009. So I was in year 9 at school. There was times in my sort of mid-teens when I thought I wanted to become a singer, and I entered a talent show. I sang Hey There Delilah by Plain White Tees, a beautiful song, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. And I remember singing it, and 2 of my friends were watching me. They were taking part as well. And there was about 100 people watching me, but I didn't really care. I was in my element, about to perform, sing my heart out. And it didn't go very well because they pranked me before pranking was popular, and they mixed up my song words. And note to self, by the way, if you're going to sing properly in a talent show, learn the song first. I hadn't learnt it. Popular. Hey there Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty, yes you do. Times Square can shine as bright as you. I swear it's true. I didn't do it so seductively or weirdly. Earlier on, when I was making that cup of tea, I was singing that song in my head, and I found myself singing it out loud, but as Kermit the Frog. Hey there Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you'll look so pretty, yes you do. Times Square can shine as bright as you. I swear it's true. I'm such a freak. As you can tell, singing wasn't for me, so I didn't do that. Although music still stayed with me. I later on went to music festivals in Scotland and Latitude in England. By far one of my favourite festivals I've ever been to. I've only ever been to 2, but just go with it. In 2010, I fell in love with photography and everything about photography. Just genuinely everything about it. I loved capturing a moment. I loved showing off my pictures to my teachers and my classmates. You know, because it wasn't really a sense of, you know, showing off as such. It was like, you know, I wanted to get recognition for something. At this point I was still living with my mum, and photography, in all honesty, was the only thing I actually had. I was shit at relationships. I was absolutely appalling at singing and dancing and stuff, even though I went to a theatre school for about 7 years. I don't want to talk about that. I say 7 years, it's more like 3 years. And I took BTEC Performing Arts, which was singing, dancing and acting. I was only ever good at acting. I mean, at my theatre school I did a lot of things. I performed at Royal Albert Hall, singing and dancing. Not just me, like in a sort of choir kind of thing. Royal Albert Hall, Sadler's Wells, which I think is in the West End, I'm not too sure though. So when I found photography and video making and stuff, that's actually how I started making YouTube videos, because part of my media project was YouTube, and YouTube was like the sort of portfolio kind of thing. And I remember my first video was Things About Me or something like that. I titled it, and it's still titled this, Sam Chaplin Presents. How freaking pretentious. But no, that's literally how my channel started, from college. So you have college to thank, or to hate, whatever view you have on me. I love nostalgia. I love talking about my past. That sounds weird, like not my horrible past, like, you know, my past in the sense of things that I don't really talk about very often. You know, I talk to Katie a lot about this sort of thing, my girlfriend. It never really pops up in conversation. Whilst I was in sixth form, carrying on with media and photography, that sort of thing, video making, my mum died. About a month or a year before she died, I moved here to my grandma's house, which is where I live now, because something happened with social services. They got involved. Long story. And then it was a kind of a weird sort of process, because after I moved here I got into depression and I got into like my dark side, And then that's when I made the self-harm video, and that's when my videos started getting really sort of like deep and dark. I wanted to use my experiences and help people who are in the same process, the same situation. And again, when my mum died, I started doing the same. I made videos about bereavement and losing people in the hope that I'd help people who were in the same unfortunate situation that I was in. And it was from then that I got so many people saying thank you, you've helped me through my dark times. And what amazes me is I've had people telling me that I've saved their lives by making videos about self-harm and depression and stuff. You know, I've spoken people out of killing themselves, which is something that I never actually thought I'd say on the internet. I'm not going to say who they are, of course, but it's something that I genuinely believe, right? Everyone has the ability to save a life. All they have to do is use their voice. That's genuinely something that I believe. Sorry. So when I finished sixth form, and I carried on photography for 1 year afterwards, and I was doing really well. I missed out a massive bit of my life then. 2013, I started working at Hayward Swifts, which is the football team that I support and I work for now. I take pictures, you know, relating back to what I was talking about earlier on, photography being my life, all that sort of stuff. Breathe. And yeah, I've noticed that I've missed out little bits of my life, which, you know, I'll probably talk about them again at some point. Yeah, I left sixth form. I dropped out of it. I left my last year of sixth form because I dropped out of it because my teacher wasn't very well. So I just thought, you know, I've got what I needed. I can carry on now. So I did, and then I got a job, like probably like a month afterwards. Like a proper job, not like a paper round or anything. I got like a I got a part-time retail job working at a high street card shop, which isn't just a card shop, it does magazines, that sort of thing. I won't say exactly where I work. I mentioned it before my videos, but it rhymes with WH myths. Try and work that out if you're British. Yeah, I was terrible. Yeah. Here I am, in my 20s, with a job, with a successful YouTube channel. It's not successful at all, but I'm not ever going to quit, I don't think, because I love this. I absolutely love making YouTube videos. It's what I adore doing, genuinely. Beaming there, follow me on Beam if you have it. It's really cool. Basically, this is completely off topic. On the iPhone, you have a sensor. We can't see it there. Oh, sorry. There. So basically, you put your finger over that and it records for you. You take it away and it stops recording. But you do it for 4 seconds and then you can play it back. Making YouTube videos is what I adore doing, genuinely. I just love that. I love that whole process of doing it. I love social media as well. That's another thing I like doing. I plan to carry on being creative because I don't want to get tied down with a job that's like, you know, I want to get a job that's something that I can actually make something. Because I love making things like videos and making tea. I don't want to work in a cafe. I like writing. I like talking even though I'm terrible at I like talking even though I'm absolutely terrible at doing it. This video is going to be an absolute pain in the arse to record, but I'll try and deal with it. If you guys are wondering where my dad is in this whole situation, my dad lives in Scotland. Just because I haven't mentioned him in my video doesn't mean that he's not around. He lives in Scotland still, but you know, we're still best friends. I still love him to pieces. Don't ever think that I'm not his friend because he's not in my videos often. In fact, actually, I'm going to see him soon actually, so that's something to look forward to. I do that because he's a bit of a dick. Joking, Dad, love you. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I'm sorry it's a bit long. I'm saying that thinking that it's going to be long. It might not be long, but if it is long, I'm sorry. Anyway, lots of love. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Oh yeah, and subscribe and stuff. Do you guys want to know how you can tell if someone's sexually aroused by the way they drink their tea? This is someone who isn't sexually aroused when they drink tea. This is someone who is definitely sexually aroused. So now you know.